Would you shut the fuck up and listen to the Skeleton Crew? It's radio at its finest.
There was this boy named Jason Voorhees, drowned in Crystal Lake about 30 years ago. None of the counselors heard him. A bunch of years went by, and everyone forgot about it. And that's when the murder started to happen. His mother blamed the counselors for her son's death, and she tried to kill them. But she got her head chopped off by one of them.
Halloween's a special night. The butcher knife's a bloody sight. Just got to the campsite, the 13th of Friday. It's your last night. Getting late, it's time for bed. Will you see tomorrow? Will tomorrow see you dead? Went to Texas, no, they warned you. Now Leatherface will massacre you. They're gonna get you, gonna kill you, and you know there's nothing we can do. They're gonna get you, gonna kill you, and you know the freaking weirdos too.
Welcome back to the Skeleton Crew. It's show 88, and we're feeling great.
Oh, Jesus.
I had to go there. That's the only thing I could think of when you said this is show 88.
It's show 88. We're feeling great. Coming fresh out the gate.
To masturbate.
Yeah, son. Woo.
Oh, wait, duh. Boy, are we stupid. It's show 87. Okay, scratch all that. So here we go. This is a pre-Friday the 13th, just like pre-you-know-what. This is pre-Friday the 13th special. The reason why we're not doing this stuff on Friday the 13th is because we have the greatest extravaganza in the history of horror radio.
Oh, we got something for all y'all asses.
We decided it would be the best idea to combine forces with Banana Laser.
Voltron!
An Avengers Voltron type thing. It is myself, Dan, Jamie, Matt, and Dave. We got together and we found out. I hinted this on the last show. I said, you know, I want to do a show. What is the greatest franchise between Halloween and Friday the 13th? Because those are the two biggest ones, biggest icons, I think, of silent slasher killers.
I didn't see it when you first mentioned it, dude. I was like, huh? What do you mean? Come on, we're going to compare them. But
then what happened, Dan?
Dude, are you kidding me? That was one of the best episodes we've ever recorded, for sure.
The best, in my opinion.
Well, and I'll be, it's hard to tell, like, you know.
It's all right.
Yeah, it was okay. But just judging it on my my level of fun, it totally is up there. I mean, you know, we've had a lot of great times on the show though, so it's kind of hard to rank it this soon. It's like when you said, yeah, but Dan, with the X-Men movie, why don't you fucking give it a week? Because every time you get out of a movie, you're like, this is the greatest movie ever. I kind of feel like it was the same situation.
No. Dude, no. 5 people can't be wrong.
This is true.
Can they, Jamie? I
guess it depends on the 5. This particular 5, no way.
Exactly. That's what I'm thinking.
And dude, Jamie was great on the show, by the way. But I'll tell you, I think a lot of people will be very surprised with a lot of Jamie's responses to a lot of these things that we post.
Oh yeah,
dude, you really shocked me, Jamie. I couldn't believe it.
In a good way or a bad way?
In a good way. Oh, actually, you know what? I'll leave it at that because we want everybody to listen to it.
It's usually in a bad way, so we wouldn't mention that again.
Well, that's true.
Right?
Yeah, that's the rule of thumb, I guess.
When it's different, we'll mention it, yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, there's a lot of surprises, twists, and turns on that show that we didn't. I know, me personally, I didn't see those coming at all, dude.
Oh, I know. I got motion sickness. I had to take a Dramamine.
Yeah, that show is very revealing about both. You don't really know these movies sometimes unless you twist and turn and put them together at different angles, and it's like a Rubik's Cube. What we did was we made those movies Rubik's Cubes, the Halloween and Friday the 13th, and we turned them and twisted them and set them up to compare in ways that we would never even thought we'd be talking about them in the ways we did.
A lot of it just came right out to us because I'll say this, dude, we're all fans of both. Think about it. They did their Halloween, retro.
And we did the classic Friday.
But, dude, we didn't repeat a lot of shit from those shows, dude. It was all original shit. Because a lot of it, you know, I don't want to give too much away, a little teaser here, but a lot of it's comparing things and stuff like that, like, you know, putting the best movies up against the best and so on and so forth. But the way it came out, I mean, I'll be honest with you guys, I did not see a lot of that shit coming until it was, like, right in front of our face. Like, just the similarities and the differences and who came out on top and why. I mean, everything about it was just perfect.
The idea is an amazing canvas, and we collectively painted a beautiful picture. I'll say it about myself. Fuck it. There's no way around it. If I wasn't on the show, I would kill for somebody to make a show like that. That's how good it was, you know?
I agree.
Fuck it. I don't care. Yeah.
Tell me something good. And if you, hey, we encourage people to do more shit like this, you know? If you think fucking, oh yeah, that's just okay, they thought it was great, I can do better, please.
Yeah, please do that. Do the same thing on Halloween and see if you can do better, you moron.
Well, because the only...
But here's the thing. On this show, here's what you're getting as the pre-Friday 13th show. Back in the year 2010, I started horror podcasting. I was on a show. Mike asked me to be on his show. It's like a defunct show now. It's Rabbit in Red. And I was on there. The first time I ever did a horror podcast was August 9th, 2010. I did another one on the 12th. What was happening was we said, well, Friday the 13th is coming. We should do something for Friday the 13th. Cliche. And I'm like, well, you know, I know a couple of the guys from the movies. I have their phone numbers, so if you want, I could just, like, shoot them a text or call them or something.
Ron Milky has my phone number.
I have his apartment key. And his underwear. Forgot to give it back to him.
I've seen the pictures.
Okay. Yeah. What happened was, you know, I said, so what we could do is something different. We could just have these guys come on the show instead of just talking about them. And they're like, really? You could do that? And I'm like, yeah, because at that time, they never heard of doing interviews and stuff, so it was like a whole new thing.
And they weren't too busy, I'm sure.
Yeah, well, one of the guys I got is a busy guy.
No shit.
I got Ron Milky. I got Russel Todd, who plays Scott with the slingshot in Friday the 13th Part 2.
Yep.
And the last person was Demon.
Yay! This shitbox is gross.
Exactly. He was on the show. Here's what happened. We always do those shows live because it was Blog Talk.
Blog Talk Radio.
And they just called in, and I didn't even know they were gonna. And in those days, we didn't have questions for anybody because we didn't think of that stuff. And
preparation.
Yeah, preparation. And on that show, we had never had any preparation. I mean, it is what it is on there. So it's like they just called in, and we just talked to them. All three of them called in. But we already interviewed Ron Milky on this show, and it was way better than this one that we did that day. So we're not going to play that one. But I'm going to play for you the Demon interview and the Scott interview from Part 2. That night, it was like magic took place. Later on, what we realized is the only magical thing about that show was me, because so if I didn't do all that, it would have been nothing, and it was nothing once I left. So it's just like it was just a magical night, and it was like amazing, and it got a lot of hits and all that stuff. It was a fun night. So we're gonna play that, and I also, before I even did any of this stuff, I used to run a website called Crystal Lake After Dark. And on there, I used to interview people for Friday the 13th, but it usually was through emails and things like that. But the first on-the-phone interview I did was with Big Tits from Friday 5.
Big Tits, nice.
I went right for the tits.
Debbie Sue Voorhees?
Debbie Sue Voorhees. Yes.
Right.
So I interviewed her, and I have that recording. It's me putting a tape recorder, to a speakerphone and me talking and this and that. It was so bad, the quality.
Really?
Yeah, I had to redo like a lot of it. I had to fix it up and polish it up. It was really bad, but
dude, that's like 2 cans and a string.
Exactly.
Wow.
But I got a little bit out of her. I wish.
Hey. Yeah, I never heard these interviews, dude. Now, so this is back in the Rabbit and Red days. Now, you were on the beginning of Rabbit and Red, correct?
About a month or two, maybe 1 month into it, yeah.
Okay. So this was like kind of not a long time ago, but it's been a while. I'm interested to hear these interviews and see how you were back then as opposed to now.
Oh, hey, everybody got to start somewhere.
Do you think they're bad?
I wasn't the showrunner, so I couldn't really guide them into being what they are today. So, I had to kind of hand over. So it's not like it would have been here. But oddly enough, the guy with me did a good job that night. It was a magical night. I think it was just, there was no stopping it. It was just a nice exchange. It was just really something special. I mean, oddly enough, the interviews got worse as that show went on. I don't even know how that could happen. How you get worse at something, but I guess it happens.
Isn't that crazy? That's technically how we met. Like, I was a caller on that show. That's how I started. They were just like, yeah, come on. And then we came to our senses and we were like, well, why don't we get the people that actually know their shit and let's do that.
There was a lot. I should have been honest on that show, but I let a lot of things go because it wasn't really mine, and it just wasn't what it should have been. And perfect segue, because it wasn't what it yeah, we were actually fired from HorrorBid.com because it just got so bad. Because it just wasn't creative. It wasn't going for anything. It was just, let's record ourselves talk.
Not a fan of that, yeah.
Yeah, and here's the topics we're going to cover, and it's like, well, dude,
right.
This is a show. Put on a show. So we were fired, and the reason I'm mentioning that is because yesterday, Thursday, HorrorBid.com is no more.
Really?
It's gone.
Whoa.
You type it in, it tells you it is gone, and you have to click this thing. We have xenomorphed into HorrorDomain.com.
Now, can I ask you a question? Is our buddy there still employed?
Michael Bates is still employed, and he had nothing. He had nothing to do with this. He did not want to get rid of HorrorBid or anything like that, but
I'm happy to hear, because I love that dude. He's great, man. So it's good to hear that he's still involved with that, regardless of what it is. Now, isn't it supposed to be kind of like a, a merchandise selling, buying, trading type deal?
Prop dealing.
Exactly. I mean, really, whatever. Say what you will about, horror websites, and everybody's got one or whatever, but hey, if you're gonna do a horror website, don't fucking change that. I mean, that's like a trick. That's like taking people that are into movies and be like, this is my practical effect fucking show, or whatever. And it's like, yeah, really? That, like, I already fucking subscribed to that and liked it. Now I gotta fucking, unsubscribe now, because, I mean, dude, I like all the prop stuff. I think it's cool. Would I ever buy any of it? Fuck no.
I don't want that shit in my house.
I don't want that shit in my house either, bro. So it's like, yeah, fuck that. I'm about horror movies, so yeah, I think it's kind of funny that, but that's another thing. That dude's been talking about changing that site for how long now? It's been like a year.
Almost a year.
Yeah, so.
It's a joke. And you should see HorrorDomain.com. Jesus Christ. If you're gonna switch over, god damn, make it look like it wasn't made in 1997. Jesus, dude.
Oh, dude, 97, man. It's like before the internet was even fucking created. This shit's so horrible.
Yeah, it's like he drew on his wall and took a picture of it and like put it just as a JPEG or something on the fucking. It's just really weird. But just so you know, on these interviews, and Jason pointed this out, and by the way, this show has mentioned his name more than any other show on the planet. He says that when I'm on the phone, like I was for the Terror Dome for the Friday the 13th Part 3 retro,
yes,
I sound like I'm 12 years old.
Which made him hot.
And I sound like a dork. Like, so different from now.
Yeah, of course. Night and day.
You gotta... okay, I'm the guy that doesn't have the smoker's voice. Like, I've been smoking for 30 years. I'm the other guy. So, and I'm not putting on a fake, like, phony, like, like, I'm the other guy. So it sounds weird, but,
Oh, so I get what you're saying now, though. So you basically sound like a 12-year-old on this one, too, is what you're implying?
Yeah, because Block Talk was always over the phone.
Yeah, I sound like I'm fucking pinching my nose. Like, hello, my name is Dan Chase. Like, it changes everybody's voice, dude. Yeah, microphones change the whole game.
Why does your nose always sound stuffed?
I don't know, man. Maybe we'll get to that later. We'll get to that on show 100.
This show actually has a couple more cool things in it. Review of the movie Popcorn.
Pop, 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 pop.
1991. A very interesting movie. We get into that. That's going to be a very interesting review.
I never even heard of it before, and without giving anything away, definitely listen because it's very interesting.
And the movie is on YouTube for free, so you have no excuse why you can't watch it. So watch it before you hear that review.
Where are they? Where are they?
I don't know, Billy, but I'm hurting, man. Should I let the machine get it?
Hello?
Are you alone in the house?
Bitch! You bitch! Where the fuck are you?
Not so fast. We're gonna play a little game. It's called
Guess who called the police and reported your sorry motherfucking ass?
Find her, you dipshit! Get up!
I can't, Billy. You cut me too deep. I think I'm dying here, man.
Talk to her.
Hello?
Oh, Stu. What's your motive? Billy's got one. The police are on their way. And what are you going to tell him?
Peer pressure. I'm far too sensitive.
I'm gonna rip you up, you bitch! Just like your fucking mother!
You got to find me first, you pansy-ass mama's boy.
Fuck!
Ah! Fucking hit me with the phone, dick! Alright guys, we have the honor of being joined by Debbie Sue Voorhees. You know her as Tina, Friday the 13th, Part 5. Debbie, thanks for coming on the show.
Well, you're welcome.
Now Debbie, even though you were in a Friday the 13th, which is a horror movie, it's a well-known fact that you actually do not even like horror movies.
No, I'm too easily scared. Oh yeah, I'm a big chicken.
So did you know anything about the franchise before being offered that role?
Oh yes, I'd heard of them. I just didn't have the courage to see them. Now I have seen The Exorcist, but you have to realize that gave me nightmares for a long time. So I just decided I'm just really not, if I'm watching a show or something on TV and something starts getting scary, I always have to change the channel.
So I assume being in the horror movie this time, when you watched it back with your friends and family, you were not actually scared this time.
Yeah, it wasn't because I knew everybody and I knew how the shots were done, and so yeah, no, it didn't scare me.
Now, can you tell me a little bit about the amazing accomplishment of winning the Best Body in Texas award?
Right, I did. Best Body in Texas contest. Pretty much so, only, a bathing suit. It was, I think, I don't know how many women total because there were smaller contests around Texas, but by the time we got together, there was like 200 of us.
Now, probably the coolest coincidence in the world is that you have the same name as the killer in Friday the 13th. Your last name is Voorhees.
It is kind of funny, isn't it? He always thinks that somehow or another, either one, that I took the name because of the show, or I even had people, even though it was the fifth in the installment, ask if that's where they got their name, where he's named from was from me. But no, it was just complete coincidence, which is, Voorhees is very unusual. Although you probably know, being in the New Jersey area, that there's a Voorhees, New Jersey.
Yep, that's right, and I passed by there a few times myself. Now, one incredible thing I read is that your death scene in Friday 5 took 13 hours to film.
Yes, yes, it was grueling.
So, aside from the reasons I would take 13 hours to film that, what would merit taking 13 hours to film a death scene?
Several things. One, when they're doing a film, they do several different angles, and so they're constantly moving the camera around. One, it's shot for film, for the R-rated version, and then they shoot again for television. And so, plus then you have all kinds of problems that come in. You'll start to shoot and a plane will go overhead, or some noise will happen or something, or there'll be a problem with some lighting or a problem with this or that, and so they have to do a reshoot of it. Then also, the amount of makeup and stuff that went into, making my face look like my eyes were gouged out, and like, you know how it had that little place where it looked like my nose was broken. That took a long time to apply that.
Wow, that's pretty wild.
So it just, all the things that come, together, it took a very long time. It was a grueling day.
Did you have any negative side effects to your death scene? Like, we talked to Russel Todd. He said the blood was gushing into his face. We all know Corey Feldman got sick because of his bald cap. Is there anything that happened to you that wasn't so pleasant because all that blood gushing in your eyes or anything like that?
Oh, yeah, well, I think one of the worst things was when they put the blood in the eyes, because it burned, because it seeped through even though I closed my eyes, and it would seep through. And it burned for a very long time, and you just have to grit your teeth. And it was really a tough day.
Now, I wouldn't be the interviewer I'm known for if I didn't touch on this topic. You obviously did a nude scene in Friday the 13th, a pretty famous and prominent one. So I'm just wondering, was there any side effects? Like, is there any negative impacts that happen when you get home? And, like, when your family watches the movie or when your friends, like, that whole kind of thing. Is there anything that...
My mom, in particular, was very supportive of whatever decision I made. I later found out that it did upset her, but she was just the type of person that she wanted me to have her support unconditionally, and so she was really great about it. I had a lot of mixed feelings and was uncertain about it myself. And, but I went ahead and took the leap and did it. I don't really regret it. But my mom did later tell me, but it was more about the death scene that it bothered her. She basically told me she took to bed for about 3 days because it was just so traumatic to see, the daughter she loved, killed.
Wow, that's pretty crazy. It really got to her, huh?
Yeah, I didn't know because she didn't tell me right then. She told me years later that it upset her. She didn't want to upset me.
So your friends didn't goof around and tease you about being nude in the movie that long and everything being out in the open?
Just laughed about it.
No, yeah, just laughed about it. So I heard there was a little friction between you and your co-star's girlfriend on the set of Friday 5.
Yeah, it was kind of funny, really. I'm sure she was a very nice person. I just didn't really know much about her. But supposedly this is what I was told, and her version of it is very different. But I was told that she was already signed for the part, and the producer had seen her and had decided that they wanted her to play the role, but the producer hadn't seen myself yet. Okay. Danny Steinman, the director, had seen me and liked me the best because he said I was the only one who understood the role. That, in the part where she's at the clothesline and she let them he tells her he wants her to go into the woods, fool around with them. The other women, they all thought that she would be angry when she said, fuck you, and instead I knew she was being playful. And I was the only one that understood that it was a playful thing. I knew she wasn't going to be getting mad at her boyfriend. That'd be silly.
Right, so you had a better idea of where your character was coming from than she did.
Right, and so that's why he wanted me to play the role. So he went to the producer, and at first he was like, no, I've already made my decision. And Stephanie goes, well, just see this one first. Well, they decided to go with me, and then I was signed. She says that she backed out because of too much nudity. Yeah. It doesn't really matter which way it was, but she was, apparently I got this feeling because I saw her at a couple auditions, and it just seemed like every time I saw her at auditions, she had to bring that up. I just don't think she was very comfortable with having another woman in a scene like that with her boyfriend. And then I don't know, and maybe it was a combination of both. Maybe they decided against her and she got nervous about the nudity. I don't know.
And one little nerd question I just want to know, do you even own a copy of Friday the 13th Part 5?
I have it on tape. It was given to me by a friend.
Oh, Jesus. VHS. Well, one more nerd question. Does it bother you that the real Jason Voorhees was not in your movie and it was just an imposter? Do you even care about that?
Oh, no. No, it didn't bother me at all. Did it bother you?
No, I've said it before. I think it was interesting to implement that. I mean, it is what it is. At this point, it's not like I'm still expecting him to really be in the movie, so I'm disappointed at the end. So no, it really doesn't bother me. I think that was an interesting way to go, if anything. It worked. So just wondering, do you believe playing the role of Tina hurt or helped or made no difference in your goals that you had in Hollywood?
I don't know if it did or not. I didn't stay in Hollywood that long after I did that. It probably would have if I had stayed longer. I was doing some auditions. When I decided to leave, I decided to go back and go to school. And I was up for some role in a soap opera time. So yeah, it probably would have helped.
Well, once you got a taste of Hollywood, was it something you wanted to do more and more, or did you feel like it was something you wanted to do less and less?
I don't know. I think my interest in Los Angeles came, early on, and the longer that I was there, the more I felt like it probably wouldn't work very well for me. There are a couple things that kind of came. I really enjoyed the acting part of it. There are a few things. I remember being at auditions where I would see women who were 20 years, and years older than I was at the time. I always felt so bad for them because they would work so hard to try and compete for the same role I was going up for. Rather than going ahead and going after a role that might be more suitable. But, they would have the boob job, facelift, all different kinds of stuff done, and the tan, and then they put glitter and baby oil on themselves, and I guess I just felt really bad for them.
Yeah, I can imagine women have a harder time letting go of their youth when they're in that business.
Yeah, and I just thought, I don't want to feel that desperate, not afraid. And so that was one thing where I thought, that's probably just not for me.
Yeah, something like that could probably make somebody crazy.
And the second thing was that, well, actually there were two other things. Another thing was that I felt like after I got a little taste of Hollywood, I felt like that my personality would not do well if I was recognized where I went. Too disruptive for me because I'm more private than that. And then the last thing was that I really wanted to get an education. Loved writing. I really wanted to write. And I felt like, writing was really more my area. And after, I graduated from school, I went on and worked in journalism for 15 years, or 4.5 years with the Fort Worth Star-Telegram, and then 11 years with the Dallas Morning News. Now I freelance for a couple magazines and still for the newspaper and stuff, and do marketing and media consulting and things. I'd also like to get into concert promoting.
Well, to wrap it up, thanks a lot, Debbie. It was a really great time talking to you. You're loved by many fans, me being one of them. Is there anything you want to say to all your fans before we go?
I always enjoy hearing from them. They've always been so sweet. It's always nice to hear from them. I'm ever amazed that they keep writing and, sending things on. And I understood how they found me when I was at the newspaper, but I'm getting people who email me. Well, how did you guys find me?
Oh, I'm just the horror interview guru of the world, so everybody sends everybody to me. No, I'm just kidding. Jack Cook hooked us up with you, so that was very cool. And let me just add that I've seen your pictures recently, and you have not lost your looks.
Well, thank you.
Hey, it's the truth, so thank you once again. It was a really good time.
Well, you're welcome. Free to email me and say hello, and let me know when you post it so I can go look at it.
I will definitely do that. Thank you, everyone. Debbie Sue Voorhees.
If the memory of Jason still haunts you, you're not alone. Friday the 13th, Part 5, A New Beginning.
Severe trauma at age 12. Brutal self-defense, murder of a psychopathic killer. Boy, they've given him every therapy they can think of. It's wonder his mind isn't fried with all the drugs they've given him.
The mindless, murderous fury that was buried with Jason has been reborn.
Pete!
And suddenly, terror has become child's play. Friday the 13th, Part 5, A New Beginning.
Alright guys, this is Popcorn, 1991.
Makes your mouth go pop, 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 pop.
Maggie, she's in film school, and they're putting together this sort of horror festival, which is really awesome, by the way. This whole festival is badass. I want to go. Wow. And during this, they come across a film that was made by a guy named Lanyard Gates, and he was part of a film cult. And back in the 70s, where they would just make all these avant-garde films, and they were really creepy and weird. And during one of his performances, he basically killed his family, set the theater on fire, and
well, no, let's set it up though. It's an awesome premise. Everybody, ripped on his movies, and they said they suck. So to get revenge, I don't know how this actually gets revenge, but he filmed this movie, and he never filmed the last scene, and he played it, I guess, obviously one night only. And for the last scene, it was a live performance, and he killed his entire family in front of everybody, then locked the doors and set the theater on fire. And a lot of people got burned, and some people escaped, and all that. Okay,
yeah, so they're getting ready to shut down this theater where this is being held. So this group goes in, and they're going to do a horror fest there. Well, weird shit starts happening. Meanwhile, Maggie is having these weird dreams about this guy, and she starts to notice these connections, and she's starting to try to kind of put it together what's going on. And she believes that Lanyard Gates is the guy that's kind of there's a guy that she sees sneaking around the theater, and she thinks that that's who it is. So people start ending up dead, and then we learn what's really going on, whether it's him or not.
Hey, did you guys notice there's a wheelchair death in this movie?
Yes, I did, and I even made a comment about it while I was watching it. I was like, "Oh, this movie is offensive." Oh no! Actually, what I first said was, as soon as the wheelchair guy rolled onto the screen, like in the very beginning of the movie, when he rolled on, I was like, "Dude, if that guy gets killed, I'm offended."
We cannot get away from this. It's amazing how everything is the synchronicity of the Skeleton Crew is unmatched. You won't even believe the things that have happened to me in the last couple of weeks pertaining to wheelchairs and everything. And by the way, this review, I did this for this guy, Joshua Bozeman. And I did it because we have two Facebook pages. One is like a normal thing for like stuff, for movies and stuff like that you would make a Facebook page. And the other one is a group page. For some reason, we never could get any activity really going on the normal one. And that has 5,350 members to it. And for some reason, it's not interactive. Nobody really says anything. Then we made the group page, and everybody writes on there. I don't even know why or whatever. But this guy is still like on the other page, the 5,000 page. And a couple times he kept writing, "You guys should totally do a video commentary for Popcorn."
Thank you, brother.
Yeah, the little-known gem from 1991. And he said he just listened to the Scream retrospective and he wants more. So it's funny that I was talking to Dan earlier, and I made the same connection, more with Scream 2 in a way, though, but that he said this movie in a lot of ways resembles Scream. So yeah, that's pretty interesting. So Joshua, this review is for you.
Thanks, brother.
Yeah, I didn't want to do a video commentary because we weren't really familiar with the movie or anything like that. So
I never heard of it.
Me neither.
Yeah.
So.
91, dude.
Yeah, 91.
Those dead years of the 90s before Scream hit that we always rag on, and then, you know, you get movies like this that pop up, and it's like,
no pun intended.
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah.
Plus, you've got some big hitters in this movie within the horror genre. You know, there's D. Wallace Stone, which you've already mentioned. And then, what is that chick's name? Give me that.
Oh, Detlef Schrempf?
What?
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were going to say Det. I'm sorry.
The chick from People Under the Stairs and Nightmare, and the one we were talking about.
Jill Scholien, that's Maggie. Tom Villard, that's Toby. Dee Wallace, Derek Rydell, Malcolm Danair, Elliot Hurst, Yvette Solar, Freddie Simpson. Here's the ones you're talking about. Kelly Jo Minter.
Kelly Jo Minter. I knew it was a double name, but I couldn't think of what. Yeah, Kelly Jo Minter, who's big. The guy who plays Toby of Villard. He's been in a lot of stuff. And the chick who plays Maggie, she was the daughter in the original Stepfather, for one. And I like her a lot.
Yeah.
I really, really like her. So this is a fun mishmash for big horror fans. If you don't know this film, then I think this is a fun one because you're going to sit there the whole time and go, oh, I know that guy. Oh, I know that guy. Oh, I know that guy. You know, so
yeah,
it's one of those.
I guess we will not give spoilers in the beginning because this is on YouTube. So if you want to check it out based on our recommendations, we'll just give you the overall thoughts and ratings now. So, Dan, what is your overall thought of this movie, 1991?
I thought it was so much fun, dude. I mean, from beginning to end, it was just a blast. Now, granted, it dipped in some points where it got a little dragged out. It's got its problems, but overall, it's just fun. And it's about, you know, horror-related stuff, like, you know, they have an all-night horror fest, like you said, and it's just a lot of fun. They got a cool little montage with a cool song in it.
Montage.
You want a motherfucking montage.
I said that when we were watching it, too. When the montage started, I was like, montage!
Yeah, and it was a good one, too, and that's the thing. I thought the acting was good. I thought overall it was a fun time. It's got its plot holes for sure, but I'm sorry, dude. If you're trying to look for plot holes in a movie like this, you got a problem. So I had fun with it. I'd say, I don't know. What are we doing? Netflix, 1 out of 5?
Mm-hmm.
I'd give it 3 stars. I had a ton of fun with it. It was great. It was a good time.
Okay. Jamie?
I'd say this is a horror film for horror fans. Like I said, there are a lot of people that you'll recognize from horror fans, but beyond that, they make a lot of references. They give a lot of nods. And it makes you feel at home when you're watching it. It's a lot of fun. There are some really cool deaths. If slashers are your thing, this is definitely up there, I think. And it's just flat out enjoyable. There are some phenomenal performances, which we will get into a little bit later. You know, I don't want to spoil anything, but there are some amazing performances here. And I think this is a little underappreciated, overlooked gem that you've probably seen in your video store for years and years and years, but maybe never picked it up for whatever reason. Maybe it's the title. I don't know, but you definitely should. And I give it a 4.
What's a video store?
Yeah, what does that mean? Picked it up.
I know. For all the dinosaurs out there who know what I'm talking about.
Block what? Luster? I'm not as into it as you guys, only because I felt like I was in there and every scene was like pretty semi-interesting or moved along. I just felt that, let's just say, like a perfect movie flows at a 1 out of 10, like a 10 pace. I felt that this moved at like a 7.5 to 8 type pace. It wasn't as fast as I'd hope, and it wasn't a slow burn either, so that's why those two things didn't kind of work perfectly for me. So
yeah, it could have been a lot tighter.
There are a couple of things in there, and I'll mention this later, but there are a couple of things in there that really have no business being in there. They don't do anything for the story. Right. It just takes up time. And so, I mean, I feel you. I totally feel you on that.
Yeah. So for that reason, it's like I'd say 3.5 out of 5, but the good content I do like both of you. So that's that. So if you want to watch it, hell, just jump on YouTube, Popcorn 1991. It's to me, if you guys need any more info on it, I feel like it's pretty much an 80s movie.
In every way.
Yeah, in every way. So here's one thing I just want to mention real quick, just so I don't forget, because I will forget. So this guy, I posted about this, and he said, love this movie, good fun, kind of stinks that the movie ruined Bob Clark's and Alan Ormsby's friendship, though.
Yes.
So I said, what are you talking about? And he said, Ormsby was the director, and even directed the old films within the film segments.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah, like, so these people go to a movie marathon, and he directed those little movies that they're watching. So, but the producers fired him during shooting. Clark was one of the producers, and Ormsby always resented that Clark didn't fight for him. So, I guess they were really good friends before that.
Well, they were. I mean, they had worked on several movies in the past, and like Deranged and Children Shouldn't Play with Dead Things. That reaches way back to 1972. So they'd been friends for a really long time.
Wow.
And Ormsby there is an Ormsby, not Alan, but another Ormsby that is credited in the credits, and I think that he is a relation to Alan Ormsby, but I don't know that for sure. I didn't actually look it up, but I think that he is. And I noticed, it's funny because when I was watching this, I noticed I didn't know about the history behind that. I did know that it had two different directors.
Yeah.
That's thanks to Brian. He actually told me that it had two different directors, but I didn't realize at the time that Ormsby was one of them. But when I was watching the credits, and I knew that Clark was involved with this, and then I saw the other Ormsby, I was like, oh, that's interesting. But I didn't know that this film was the crux of what basically happened to them, and that's pretty sad. But anyway, yeah. So interesting little tidbit.
Yeah, for anybody who doesn't know, Bob Clark directed A Christmas Story and Black Christmas. That's his two most...
Oh, that's that dude? Oh, no shit.
Mm-hmm. So, this movie has a guy in a wheelchair in it, and since our show number 86, I can't get away from that.
Nope.
That's interesting. You know, it's a pretty cool backstory. The thing about, we already talked about how he didn't film the last scene and then killed people on stage. I don't know why he killed his family. Was that ever talked about?
There was a lot of exposition in this movie. Let's just put it that way.
There's always some bullshit reason to kill your family.
Right. And there was even the newspaper clippings that might have even explained it in a small way, but I don't know. Personally, I followed it to a certain extent, but I just wanted to be in that movie theater.
Oh, man, it was like Scream 2, but way better.
Way better. You know how we said we want to be in a movie theater like that, and it's not like that? Dude, fuck Scream 2, man. I want to be at this theater. For sure.
Yeah, they just gave away Scream masks. I mean, these people fucking shocked your chair when a guy was in an electric chair.
But the same thing. The
big mosquito.
They use the same shtick though. What
do you mean?
With at the end, everybody thought it was a big joke when the dude was going to kill her on stage.
Right.
Just like in Scream 2,
Oh yeah.
Same thing, man. So I wonder if they ripped that one off. Kevin Williamson.
It is possible.
Yeah, what did you guys think of? So they have the big giant mosquito that matched the mosquito in the. Well, first, what did you guys think of the film shorts?
I loved them. I gotta tell you, they were so authentic. The only complaint I have about the mosquito one was that the lead actress's hair in that film was not really authentic for the time period in which it was supposed to be taking place. If they had made her look a little bit better, look a little more to the time, like giving her a 50s hairstyle, then I think that it would have been perfect. And the Japanese film that they did,
what was that one again?
Was that the smell one?
Well, one was electric chair.
This was not the electric chair. The one. This is I guess it was the smell one. But anyway, it was the colors were perfect for the time period. I mean, he really went all out to try to make these films look as authentic as possible, and I think he did a bang up job. And when you have tiny snippets of films within another film, you don't maybe even think it's necessary to do that. But the fact that he did gains a lot of points with me.
Yeah, I wonder why he was fired.
It reminded me of Chillerama too.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
Yeah.
Definitely, I knew you liked that because Adam Green.
It's just the whole fun. It really pinpoints the excitement and fun of just the whole ritual of going to the movies and shit like that, and how much fun that is in itself, dude. Fuck the movie. The movie,
right?
The icing on the cake,
That experience seemed like the greatest thing in the world. Like when they all sat down. and the first movie started, Mosquito, it just sounded so dumb.
Yeah.
And it was like, it's a shame, because they have this amazing atmosphere, and then they're going to sit here and watch bullshit movies, and it's like, well, that's kind of stupid. But then all of a sudden, it was so cheesy great and fun, it was just like, well, fuck, I would like to go there, whatever.
Okay.
If it gets really boring, I'll just push my girlfriend's head down in my lap.
Exactly. Hey, fucking cut a hole in the bottom of the popcorn.
Exactly, dude. Exactly. Butter it up a little bit. So there was one really funny thing. Speaking of, like, the actual movies that they're watching, one really just fucking bizarre moment was randomly some Jamaican band just starts playing music.
Yes, dude, that's the best part.
This was actually filmed in Jamaica. Well, it was a dual production. Some of it, I think, was actually filmed in L.A., but it was filmed in Jamaica, and the whole reason they have that band is because it was a local band, and it was... and so they had to, like, shoehorn them into the story, which I thought was kind of weird, but...
Saturday night at the movies. Da-da-da-da-da.
The way the audience reacted once they started playing Possession is far more strange than I thought that they would act like that when these assholes came out and started playing music, and the music just kept going on and on, right. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, how long is this song? Like, it was literally, it felt like 15 minutes of the movie these people were on, and I'm like, these guys are so into it, they're flipping out, they're clapping, they're dancing, I'm like, that would never happen.
Dude, that's what I mean about this. That scene, there were a bunch of scenes that just dragged. And I'll even say this. I agree with you guys. I like the movies within the movie here. But I still think that those even dragged. Like, the scenes kept going back to the movies. And it's like, all right, let's just get back to the plot. I want to see some shit here. It just, I don't know. I don't want to say the editing and how it was cut was bad. But I just wish it was more directed towards the main plot. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well...
It just dragged in a lot of parts. Within the movie itself, too. It just seemed like they... You know what they did? They had, like, a couple different subplots, and they went from one to the other, and then back. One to the other and back. And one of them was the movie within the movie, and it was almost made it irrelevant. Like, why do we need to see this at this very moment? I want to see this. Do you know what I mean?
I thought they were entertaining, though. I don't care where you go, honestly, in a movie. If you're entertaining me throughout it, that's cool if you want to focus on your little things. But, like Dan said, some of it wasn't really that compelling, but most of it was, thank God. But some of the subplots was about the relationships. Like, there's a guy who I guess used to date the main girl, and now he's there with another chick. Then he gets out of his seat, and some other guy just sits there and puts his arm around his girlfriend, and she's cool with it. And then he comes over and he's like, "Sir, you're in my seat." And he's like, "Eat shit, asshole."
Yeah, dude. And I want to say this about this movie, too. Some of the funniest fucking backdrop lines, like, from people in the theater screaming shit.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
It was so good. Every single one was just, like, gold. I was like, you gotta be kidding me. And they didn't hold back, too.
Except for some of those costumes, they would not be wearing them sitting in front of me. I just gotta say, some of those heads were way too huge. Have some courtesy and sit in the back, asshole.
Yeah, really. But one of the best ones, like Dan's talking about, they actually threw out a bunch of the funny lines within those little movies that they're watching in the theater, and the best one had to be the electric chair. When the guy's walking down the hallway, everything they say is hilarious. Like, "All right, man, keep it warm for me," and another guy's like, "Hey, remember, don't sit down." And like they just kept on saying funny. I'm not delivering it very well, but they just kept on saying funny shit. Like, every line was gold. That was pretty cool. How they put that much thought into the comedy of that.
It was perfect, dude. I loved it, and I love backdrop lines like that. Like, I think it's some of the funniest shit. I know Harold and Kumar does it really good. There are a couple other movies that just really nail the fucking backdrop, and that to me, if there's subtlety involved, and I don't even want to call it subtlety, but you have to be listening, fucking closely to appreciate that kind of shit. I just think I love that kind of stuff.
Scary Movie does that.
Scary Movie, yeah, exactly.
He's like, "That's my girlfriend." "No, it's my." He's like, "What? The fuck?"
"No, what? That's my girlfriend, huh?" That's Cliff.
That's Cliff is in that scene.
Dude, that's so funny that you said that, though. But you're right, man. It's like, but see, to me, though, those are the things that just make a movie like this so much more enjoyable and just makes me laugh. And it's just like, that's pretty cool. All right, and they keep doing it throughout the whole movie. It's great.
Yeah, it was great. Good writing.
Yep.
So what do you guys, now let's talk about the killer and the kills. Jamie, what do you think of Toby, the killer? And what about the reveal? I mean, here's the thing about that. I didn't even care in a way that, like, the reveal wasn't that interesting to me.
He was, as a little child, he got burned and lost his entire face pretty much, which is why he wears a mask now. So that was, his whole thing was revenge. Basically, because he was involved in the original fire.
Oh shit! Check this out. Is this a plot hole? So Toby just dressed up like this Lansing or whatever his name is, the one who's in charge of the cult.
Lanyard.
Right.
Lanyard Gates.
But here's the big plot hole. So Toby's just a regular guy who got his face burned and all that. What is with the girl having dreams about him as if he's like talking in her dreams? He has no real powers. And what's with the ticket popping up and the doors opening and the lights going on?
Well,
so
and the marquee kind of blowing the letters off when Dee Wallace is standing in front of. There are several supernatural elements here which don't really make a lot of sense.
No.
And I'm wondering if the change of directors has something to do with that. Like maybe if they were going to go in one direction and then when they changed directors, they ended up going in a different direction. I don't know. But that's my theory, is that it might have something to do with the fact that it was filmed by two different people. Because there are some, and if you pay attention, like the supernatural elements that, we're talking about, particularly like the Dee Wallace one or whatever, and then the ticket popping up, those things never make any sense on the back end of the movie. It's never explained how these things happened in the front end of the movie. So the only thing I can think of is that it must just be a directorial thing.
Yep.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, just occurred to me.
You know what else occurred to me, Alex? They rolled Dee Wallace out at the end, too, just like Scream.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
And that's right, yeah. And she was perfectly cast in that role.
Exactly.
Oh, God. Yeah, what was his joke? You heard of Iron Maiden? You thought it was a band?
Yeah, you thought Iron Maiden was a band. Yeah. I love Villard as the villain here. I think that he played crazy to the hilt. I thought he was perfect. He was fun to watch. I really enjoyed the makeup effects. There's a scene where he's like half putting on his Toby face, which is his everyday mask, and then he turns around and it's sort of half on, half off, and the ears are flopping.
Poking out. Yeah.
But that's the guy's real face in the middle, and it is completely seamless. It looks as, I mean, where the floppy ears are is to his real face is totally seamless. The makeup was so good.
Perfectly colored.
It was brilliant, and I really enjoyed that. I thought that was a nice touch, and I just really loved watching him crazy out. He's funny, he would the scene where he goes to kill the one girl, and then she thinks he's the other guy, so she's like, "So do you think Toby likes me? Like I'm totally in love with this guy, and he doesn't even know I'm alive." And then he gets all frustrated and leaves because he can't kill her now that he knows that she's in love with him, which I thought was a really nice, sweet touch. Like he does have a heart, and then he has that little tantrum where he's like, "Don't bring love into this. I've got a movie to make," and it's just, it was funny, I thought that the actor was dead on, and
yeah, he was good.
Well, and let's face it, guys, the mask thing, that was quite a stretch. That could never be realistic in any...
Oh, no.
You know what I love about it? As he put the rubber mask on, when he turned around, it was obviously the real actor.
Yeah.
With their ears flopping around.
But see, I like that. Like, you gotta fucking really just go with it at that point. But I didn't think it was. I didn't know how they were gonna do that, and I did not know if it could work. But how they did that with the actor's face on, and doing the whole thing, I gotta say, man, I was surprised, and I was like, touche. I'll bite my fucking tongue at that one. That looks cool. And then, you said, then the ears hanging off. I was like, this shit just got fucking weird.
Yeah, that was good stuff.
What don't make sense though is when he does this impersonation thing, he somehow matches their voices perfectly.
That's a voice thing. Yeah, he mentions it too. He's got a voice changer. Scream.
Yeah, Scream again. But then at the same time, when he was pretending to be somebody, they said you don't sound right or whatever. I mean, what did he do? Lose his voice?
Something happened in that instance where he took off his mask or something, and
he couldn't do it.
Yeah, something.
So here's the thing: when he puts the masks on, he does this thing. He pronounces things perfectly. He sounds totally normal. But then when there's no mask on him, there's something on his mouth, and he talks like unnatural, like as if there's like something like that, you know, like
he's burned.
I think that's just a product of the actual actor then wearing prosthetics, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah, right? Yeah, because it's not another person.
It's sort of like backwards, you know. But
yeah, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I do have one complaint about the actual filmmaking part of this film, and it's a very simple one, and it's not enough to make me not like it in the least. I mean, because you already know I gave it a 4. But one thing I have a complaint about is the very end death. They involve the giant mosquito, which is awesome, and that's great. However, they also used that for the first death.
Right.
With the
That's
teacher.
my biggest problem.
I don't like that because you have so many things at your disposal, so many ways to off people, and then you're going to use the very first one again in the big climax. That's a big mistake. Because it's when you get to the climax, you want to see something you've never seen before. And
saw it an hour ago.
Yeah, hopefully fireworks and you know, you want to see something that's fresh and original and something that's going to wow you. And that, you know, they kind of failed on that because we'd already seen a death with the giant mosquito. You know, in the end, I still love the film. It doesn't, you know, I'm not like pissed about it, but I think it was a really bizarre choice, you know, to make in a film, which is, you know, a slasher, and that's what you want is inventive, creative deaths.
And it wasn't just the same thing, it was the same way. Like, I'd say if they used that same thing and, like, decapitated him as a crowd or something, that would even be cool. Like, it's the same thing, but it just took his fucking head off. But no, it's the same way, too. So, yeah, I feel you on that.
Exactly. I thought that, I'll be honest with you, I thought the whole ending was kind of floppy.
Yeah.
What was the payoff? Like, and then you got this guy climbing the fucking marquee or whatever. It's like, well, what the hell is he doing? Like,
and then you got the two that are like, oh, we got walked out, we gotta walk around. Didn't he say there was a dog out here? Like, what do we want? Why? What are we doing here?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyone who goes out those doors immediately, before we even knew it was going to be an issue that he got locked out, as soon as he walked out those doors, I said, dude, there are no handles on that doors, you're locked out.
Yep.
Because everyone knows that that's how those doors work. And then he comes in and he's all bitching and complaining, and I'm like, what the hell? And then they go out the same door. And I'm like, are you fools? Right? You just went through this conversation with him where he told you he got locked out of that door. Why are you being an idiot?
Yep, exactly. It's like Wayne's World when they go through the backstage and they go out the door and then they meet Tiny.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know, it's an odd reference, but
and then the whole new girlfriend, big guy hitting him thing had nothing to do with anything and really did not belong in the film.
And it didn't do anything.
It didn't lead anywhere. It didn't add anything. There was really no use for it. I think it was nothing but a time killer, and I'm never a big fan of that in a film. Don't waste my time. Everything that's on screen should mean something. And
well, you know what, Jamie? If you want to go real far with it, can you imagine if they said, well, we need a reason that the front doors are locked?
And that may very well be it, and I guess I could give them that concession. And that's a good point, Alex. I hadn't thought about that. And
but you know they didn't think that way, and especially when this dude's making fucking, like you said, fucking things blow up on the fucking. I'm sure he locked the doors.
Yeah, he could have locked the doors. I mean, he's making shit blow up.
He can do it with a swoop of his fucking. You know, these are not the droids you're looking for. You know.
But let's talk about this wheelchair death. Because, not because it's a wheelchair, but because I have to give them huge props for the amount of suspense that they were able to put into a death in a slasher film that I thought was really successful. You know, because he's tied down, we're watching the lights light up as he's watching them. We know he's going to be electrocuted when it hits the final light. He knows that. He's frantic. He's trying to reach the plug. He almost reaches the plug. And even though you know damn well, because you're watching a slasher film, that he's not going to, you kind of pull for him. You're like, he's almost got it. And I really think that bit of suspense was extraordinary. I mean, I think for a film like this, I think that they did a good job.
Yeah, definitely. That, and I love how his wheelchair blew back after he got electrocuted. That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry guys, my band.
Nope.
Yeah, and he was just like, yes, your band, you're out. Sorry. And he's just ashes, which I thought was great. I really liked that one. So as much as they disappointed me with the double use of the mosquito, I thoroughly enjoyed the wheelchair. So,
you know what kind of movie this is, bro? This is like a good around Halloween time movie, I think.
Yeah, And I was thinking when this guy mentioned the commentary that we should do for this, you know, I understand what he's saying. It would almost be like us having that theater experience. Like, we're in it, and we're talking about it, and we're, like, experiencing the movie together and talking during it. Like, that would almost be a theater-going experience, which sort of commentaries are. So, there you go. Go watch Popcorn or Not. It's on YouTube for free. If you don't like it, don't blame me. Blame Dan and Jamie.
You can blame me. I'll take it.
Evening.
Evening.
I almost drove right past.
I always forget to put the sign on, but we do have a vacancy. 12, in fact. 12 cabins, 12 vacancies. Candy?
No, thanks. In the past 2 days, I've been to so many motels, my eyes are bleary with neon. But this is the first one that looks like it was hiding from the world.
Well, to tell you the truth, I didn't really forget the sign. It just doesn't seem any use.
Oh?
This used to be the main highway. You want to come in and register?
Sit down. I don't want to trouble you. Just want to ask.
No trouble. Today's linen day. I change all the beds once a week, whether they've been used or not. I hate the smell of dampness. It's such a creepy smell. You out to buy a motel?
No.
Well, the reason I asked, you said you've seen so many in the last 2 days. What was it you wanted to ask?
I'm looking for a missing person. My name's Arbogast. Private investigator. Trying to trace a young girl who's been missing almost a week, from Phoenix. It's a private matter. Family wants to forgive her. She's not in any trouble.
I didn't think the police went searching for people who weren't in any trouble.
I'm not the police.
Oh.
We have reason to believe she came this way. Might have stopped in this area. Did she stop here?
Well, no one stopped here in weeks.
Mind looking at the picture before committing yourself?
Commit myself? You sure talk like a policeman.
Look at the picture, please.
No. At least I don't recall.
Well, she might have used an alias. Mary Crane's the real name, but she might have registered under a different one.
I don't even bother with guest registering anymore. I mean, little by little you drop the formalities. I shouldn't even bother to change the sheets, but old habits die hard. Which reminds me.
What's that?
It's the light for the sign. We had a couple last week said if the thing hadn't been on, they would have thought this was an old deserted...
Well, you see? That's exactly my point. You said nobody's been here for a couple of weeks, and there's a couple came by. Didn't know that you were open. Well, as you say, old habits die hard. It's possible this girl registered under another name? Mind if I look at your book?
No.
Thank you. Yeah. Here we are. Marie Samuels. Interesting alias.
Was that her?
Yes. Don't know where she got Marie. Marie, Mary, Samuels. Her boyfriend's name is Sam. Was she in disguise? By any chance, want to check the picture again?
Well, I wasn't lying to you. I just have trouble keeping track of time.
Oh, I know you wouldn't lie to me.
Oh, yeah. Well, it was raining, and her hair was wet, and to tell you the truth, it's not a very good picture of her either.
No, I guess not. Tell me all about her.
Well, she arrived rather late one night, and she went straight to sleep and left early the next morning.
How early?
Oh, very early.
Of which morning?
The next morning, Sunday.
Oh, I see. Uh-huh. Did anyone meet her here?
No.
Did she arrive with anyone?
No.
She make any phone calls?
No.
Did you spend the night with her?
No.
How do you know she didn't make a call?
Oh, well, she was very tired. See, now I'm remembering. I'm making a mental picture in my mind. You see, when you make a mental picturization of something.
That's right. Take your time.
She was standing back there. No, she was standing up with a sandwich in her hand, and she had to go to sleep early because she had a long drive ahead of her.
Back where?
Back where she came from.
You said she was sitting back there, or standing rather.
Oh, yeah, no, back in the parlor there. She was very hungry, and I made her a sandwich, and she said she was tired and had to go right to bed.
Oh, I see. How did she pay you?
What?
Cash or check? For the cabin?
Oh, cash.
And after she left, she never came back?
Well, why would she? Well, Mr. Arbogast, I guess that's about it. I have some work to do if you don't mind.
To tell you the truth, I do mind. You see, if it doesn't gel, it ain't aspic. This ain't gelling.
I don't know what you expect me to know. People just come and go.
That's right. She isn't still here, is she?
No.
If I wanted to check the cabins, all 12, I'd need a warrant, wouldn't I?
Listen, if you don't believe me, go ahead. You can help me make beds if you like. Come on.
That's okay.
Change your mind? You know, I think I must have one of those faces you can't help but believing.
Is anyone home?
No.
Oh, somebody's sitting in that window.
No, there isn't.
Oh yeah, go ahead and take a look.
Oh, that must be my mother. She's an invalid. It's practically like living alone.
Oh, I see. If this girl, Mary Crane, were here, you'd have no reason to hide her, would you?
No.
If she paid you well?
No.
Let's just say for the sake of argument, if you were gallantly protecting her, you know that you were being used. You wouldn't be made a fool of, would you?
Well, I'm not a fool. And I'm not capable of being fooled, not even by a woman.
Well, that's not a slur on your manhood.
Well, look, let's put it this way. She might have fooled me, but she didn't fool my mother.
Wow, then your mother met her. Can I talk to your mother?
No. As I told you, she's confined.
Yes, but just for a minute. There might be some hint that you missed out on. Sick old women are sharp.
No.
Come on. I wouldn't disturb.
I think I've talked to you about all I want to, so it would be much better if he left now. Thanks.
Well, all right. You sure would save me a lot of legwork if you let me talk to your mother. Would I need a warrant for that, too?
Sure.
All right. Thanks anyway.
All right, guys, as we wrap things up, as promised, we're going to play the classic interviews I talked about. Remember, we got 3 guys from Friday the 13th on one show. It was like a magical night on the first show I was on. It's not the best quality. It's at the end of the show. This is a little bonus thing. This isn't like official. And even though I don't own that show, these are my interviews, so I own the intellectual property of them.
Or lack thereof.
Yeah, there's no intelligence in these interviews. Yeah, this is just on-the-cuff stuff. Just a little bonus. Friday the 13th. Get you warmed up for a big Friday the 13th grand finale. Huge, biggest show ever. Friday the 13th versus Halloween. What is the better franchise? So check these interviews out, and we will be right back after all that good stuff.
I believe we have a special guest on the line already right now with Rabbit and Red Radio. And that's the one who's singing. Is this Mr. Miguel Núñez?
Yes, it is. Ooh, baby.
Thank
How's
you,
it going,
sir.
man? How's it going out there?
It's going great. Thank you very much, first off, for calling in to a bunch of nerds who do horror shows.
That's all right with me.
Oh, here's where the kiss dancing will start. I like you, and because of you and Bobby Lee and Michael Rosenbaum, you made Kicking It Old School extremely hysterical.
Jamie Kennedy is the funniest man alive to me. I had so much fun doing it. I don't think I ever laughed this hard in my life.
I couldn't, because I sat down and watched it. I didn't know you were in it because I didn't see the trailer. And I go, and you probably hate when people say, it's like, that's Demon. That's the guy from Friday 13th Part 5. And like, it's so unfortunate because you've been in so much stuff.
Thing is, each movie has an indelible impression on different people. So, I mean, some people come up and say stuff that I didn't even remember I was in. And I didn't remember I had like one scene. And everybody's got their own, favorite something that I remind them of. So it's all good to me.
All right, we have a couple questions to ask, if you don't mind. I think the first question that Alex and I we want to ask is, in Friday 13th Part 5, you didn't wipe your ass to get up in
everybody asked me about that. I hadn't actually started shitting yet. That's the problem.
Yeah, right?
I would love to do another Friday 13th. I know at one time they were talking about doing another Friday 13th, and they contacted me. They were going to do one where all Jason's victims come back to haunt him.
What year was this? When did do you remember?
This is like maybe a couple of years ago. They were trying to do one where all of Jason's victims come back to hunt him.
This is before the reboot, then.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, this is long. This is probably the first thing they started to think about back then, but they didn't ever do it.
I remember I heard something that they were going to bring back all the survivors, but I never heard anything about bringing back everybody who died. And they went as far as calling you?
Yeah, they were going to bring us back as spirits. It wasn't the survivors. They got nothing against Jason. That's what I understood. There was going to be all the victims of Jason were going to come. Well, not all of them, but they were going to pick certain ones that had memorable deaths.
Yeah. Yeah, the ones who could act. You probably have one of the most successful careers of anybody in the Friday 13th, whoever, any victim or anything. Like, if you look through, most of these people,
I agree, because you never see them again.
No, never. I think Jason really killed them.
Yeah, I think Jason killed them, and that was the end of it. He killed them in their careers. But I've been blessed. I can't complain. I truly have been blessed, and I can't complain at all. I'm getting ready to do a new series right now with me and John Schneider. I play a sex addict golfer named Tiger.
Oh.
Is this for Back 9?
Yes. But we shot the pilot a year before Tiger's Problems came out.
Really?
Before he ever had one problem with his sex thing, we shot that. And what happened was the producers had him, the studio was like, well, hold on, if his name's Tiger, people are going to think he's Tiger. Tiger's such a boring character that everybody's going to think the show's boring, so change the name. And the producers said, well, why don't we do this? Why don't we go the total opposite of what Tiger is and make him a whore? And that's why we did it.
Wow.
Yeah, that's awesome. You got Carmen Electra in there. You even have John Farley. I like John Farley, great character actor. It looks
great
like,
character.
He was funny in one of my favorite movies, Madhouse, with him and John Larroquette.
He was great.
I love a good character actor. Miguel, I have a question. I need to. This happened to my co-host here, Alex. Your quote-unquote brother, Reggie the Reckless, wasn't quite a little bit pompous, I would say. Alex, do you want to tell the great Miguel Núñez here what Reggie the Reckless did?
Miguel, I met you on April 28th when you were in New Jersey. At some convention. Reggie the Reckless, Siobhan Ross, was my first interview ever. What happened was I interviewed him and everything was going great, and it was fine. And at the end of the interview, I was like, oh, cool, man, listen, it was really great to interview you. Do you think I could send you a picture and can autograph it and send it back? And you don't have to pay nothing. I'm going to prepay everything, and it's going to have another envelope in there already paid, and all you got to do is sign it and put it in and just put it in the mailbox. And he was like, oh, yeah, definitely, man. Yeah, I'll definitely do that. Cool. Yeah, thanks a lot. All right, well, just send it to me, and I'll get that back to you. I was like, okay, cool. So I go ahead, and I make this really nice thing up on Photoshop. I put the logo, Friday 13th, put it on glossy paper, like everything. It cost like about $20 or whatever by the time I was done, with the shipping and the prepaid and everything. So I sent it to him exactly where he tells me to. So then I don't ever see this thing ever. I eventually somehow get back in contact with him, probably through email or whatever, or AIM, and I say, hey, man, listen, I was just wondering, whatever happened to, that picture I sent you? Didn't you ever get it? I sent you the picture, and you were supposed to sign it and send it back, and he was like, all he said was this. He goes, really, man? You know what? You can get my autograph anywhere. Just go to eBay or whatever. You'll get it. And I'm like...
Yes, he did.
No way. That's horrible. That's horrific.
If I ever saw him,
but that's horrible.
You know what's really messed up? I was going to see him. I think he was at a convention on August 22nd in New Jersey. I think you were there too. And I was going to say hi to you again because we talked about doing this interview when I met you on 2009 in April. He was supposed to be there too, and I really wanted to tell him this story. But, I went out with this girl there, and we just stayed the whole time in the bar, and we never got to meet anybody. In Friday the 13th, you or Reggie or nobody.
Where was this? What was that?
It was pretty far, probably Cherry Hill, August.
New Jersey.
No, man, if you ever see me, I'm out there with everybody.
Yeah, yeah. I missed it, man.
There's something happening in September.
Oh, cool. All right.
For Cherry Hill?
I don't know what it is, but we're going. I don't know where it is, but... It's a Return of the Living Dead and a Friday 13th reunion. One of those.
That's in Maryland, I believe.
Yes, you're right. It is in Maryland.
I should be your new agent. I'm promoting your backside. You know what? All you need to do is slap Reggie the Reckless around for being a pompous jerk.
I will. Because he's really not like that. So, you know what I'm saying? He really isn't. But I will
I just thought that was funny.
Yeah, I do too, but that's why everybody is. You never know who somebody is. You always treat everybody with respect. That's all I do.
No, he was really, really nice. I mean, it was just, I don't know. Maybe
he probably don't even remember where it was. That's probably his problem.
Exactly, yeah. I don't think he did it in a malicious way at all.
Of course, after my co-host there created that incredibly awkward moment in the interview, I had to just go ahead and change the subject. So this is an awkward transition.
Do you realize that, like, Return of the Living Dead is, like, the greatest zombie movie ever? To me, I think it beats out any George Romero movie by far. I mean, you'll never like, it was literally like a party to me. It seemed like it wasn't going to take itself seriously, but it ended up being probably, I think, the greatest zombie movie ever. I know Vince agrees. Can you tell us anything about that? Yeah.
That was my first movie, and I was so blown away just by being in a scene with a naked girl. I can't really tell you anything else. I was so blown away.
Yeah, and
and we were out in the graveyard most of the time.
Wow.
Yeah, it was fun though.
Oh, sorry, Miguel, real quick, the director of that movie recently passed away, Ed O'Banion, had a lot of nice things to say about you in the commentary to the DVD.
He is the nicest guy.
And of course, you talk about the being blown away by the naked chick. I'm forgetting her name, but all I can remember is I think that was the first time I seen fake breasts. They looked fake. They were too perfect. I'm not complaining, but I don't know how you could work around that.
I couldn't believe it. I was like doing the scene, and we like cut. She was just sitting there just talking. How they rush over in big budget films like that, they rush over with a robe. We didn't have nobody rushing over with a robe, and she didn't even care. We'd be sitting at lunch, and she'd just be sitting there naked, just talking. And my eyes were wide open the whole time. I'm like, is anybody watching this but me? I'm from North Carolina. I just.
That was your first, pretty much what? That was filmed in L.A., wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
That was your welcome to L.A. You're looking at that. You're getting excited. I mean, it's a big time. Good. Exactly. I think that's what Miguel said on the set.
Yeah, I was like, damn, I think I picked the right business. She was so sweet and nice, and I mean, nobody disrespected her in any way because she was naked. But she was always professional, and she was just so sweet. Actually, we were there. I remember, but I don't know. I was involved with the scene, so I couldn't even tell you. Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. And Dan O'Bannon, you know, he's real prolific, so he gets the best shots. He was really cool. He pretty much let us have fun and do our own thing.
Hey, Vince, can you do a few clips from Demon and Spider in his movies?
Unfortunately, I do not have I don't have all the return, but I definitely have probably one of the best demon clips of all time.
This shit box is gross. I knew that's what you were going to put. I knew it. I was going to say that when I came home, but I didn't know if I could curse.
Yeah, you can fucking say whatever you want here.
That's what I like about it. Yeah. Damn, this shit box is gross. I don't know.
I have to ask you this one thing. Can you please give us an "Oh Baby"?
Ooh baby, ooh baby, ooh baby, ooh. Hey, you better stop fucking around out there, girl.
You're gonna get it, bitch.
Exactly. That's what I feel.
You know, he did do Why Do Fools Fall in Love, which is a great movie. Of course, we don't have those clips. We have to get your clips from Friday at 5. You know.
Yeah.
And of course, everybody's favorite.
Hey, you okay?
Damn enchiladas.
that is my ringtone, by the way. That's my ringtone.
That's another famous line.
Your scene, you were in Friday 5 very long, but you made an impact. You're a lot of people's favorite characters.
Me being one of them. I remember. Do you remember I told you when I met you? I told you that my name on I created a Friday 13th website, and my name was Demon.
Yes. Hey, wait a minute.
Yeah.
I remember you now.
Yeah. And I told you that. Yeah, we were going to do that interview for a while. Remember?
Yeah. Hey, listen. What about We should set something, do a live broadcast from the next horror thing.
You know what? That would be a great idea.
Yeah, I'll sit in there with y'all. I'll get everybody to come to the table.
That's worth taking a trip down to Maryland. We're in Philadelphia.
We set up right over there. Can I probably get some sponsors, do some giveaways? We might do something here.
Oh,
cool. Yeah. Y'all listening to this radio station, y'all make sure y'all come out to Maryland when we're there because we're going to have a ball. You heard it right here first.
Before this, Alex kept saying, hey, this Miguel might be a real prick. You know, he's a famous Hollywood star. I said, Alex, that's no way to talk to him. He said, no, fuck him. And I'm a big fan of Miguel, but Alex is, see, Alex, I was right. He's a very nice gentleman.
You're right. You can't ever listen to Adam.
Dude, I would never cross that sacred line. You're my favorite character in my favorite horror franchise. I would never say nothing like that.
That's what I'm talking about.
Well, dude, thank you so much.
Thank you. Anything you like to plug? Anything you like to plug before you head out?
Back 9. Watch out for Back 9 coming out on Spike TV.
Awesome. And how about Trapped Haitian Nights?
Yeah, Trapped Haitian Nights. That's coming out very soon.
All right, and check him out. I know they're doing replays of Blue Mountain State. He was very funny. He was a transvestite prostitute. Thank you, Miguel. Thank you very much.
Thanks very much. Bye.
All right, like I said, let's do some pre-Friday the 13th celebration with a back-to-back. That was Demon from Friday the 13th, Part 5, Miguel Núñez, and this is Russel Todd, Scott, with the Slingshot from Friday the 13th, Part 2.
Hey, it's Russel Todd.
I thought it was going to be. Yeah, we don't have a call screener. There's way too much money.
I'm so sorry that my phone shows up unavailable, but I'm glad that you took my call.
Oh, no, I appreciate you calling in. It really means a lot to me. You're joined here. I'm Vince and Alex, and we have Mike.
Well, happy Friday the 13th to everybody.
Happy Friday the 13th.
Same to you. Yeah, it's near and dear to my heart, this date, of course, and I'm really, really happy that I was part of this franchise, Part 2, of course, and it's amazing the longevity.
And plus, you have one of the cooler kills of all time in a Friday the 13th movie.
Yeah, it was kind of cool, going up in a bear trap, upside down, and then the slit throat. It was nice. Yeah, it was terrific. A funny tale, which I think has been printed before, but I remember they saved my death for my last night of shooting. And I remember calling my parents and saying, well, it's my last night in Connecticut. We were finishing this Paramount film. And she said, what's the scene? I said, well, it's my death scene. And my mom said, well, why are they killing you on the last night? I said, what do you mean? And why did they save that? Why did they film everything else when they're killing you at the last night you're working? And I said, well, that's just the way, it was scheduled. And she thought it was a snuff movie, that they were really going to kill me. That's why they got all my other scenes out of the way.
That's great.
Yeah, you should have told her, don't worry, they're going to use the dull side of the knife to cut my throat.
That's right. Yeah, exactly, which of course they did.
A real snuff film would have been the other way.
True. Yeah, very true. Yeah, it's so funny when I look at that and say, why did they do that? Because I was wearing a prosthetic, which definitely which was pre-cut and had tubing for the blood, and all I had to do was lean my head back to reveal the gaping wound. So I guess they felt, they didn't want to have any chance of actually cutting my throat, even though there was, an inch-thick latex on it.
Right.
I'm glad I survived.
I'm glad you mentioned that, actually. Part 2 is well known for being the most edited Friday the 13th, like almost no gore. It's even comparable to Halloween Part 1. In the interview we did, you told me that there was so much blood that it started spilling into your eyes.
Yeah, I was upside down, and they just kept pumping that blood, and, they kept saying, keep it going, keep it going. And I had to stop at some point because I had to react because it was going into my eyeballs and causing a problem.
And in your nostrils, probably, right?
Yeah, it was just going totally upside down into the rest of my face. But it's true when you say that. I didn't think about that. They cut that short. They cut a lot of the death scenes short where you don't see much except the actual killing. And then, a moment or two later. And that's very true. That's a good point.
So, I don't know what it's like to be an actor on a set. Do you just hang out when other scenes are being shot and you watch it happen, or are you guys just not even around?
It depends where it was. They shot a lot of that out. Our cabins were down this long, long road that led to the major place where the other things were shot. not a cabin, it was like a lodge. So quite often when we were finished, we'd go back, and they'd want you to go back because technically you're off the clock, get out of here, stop paying you. But sometimes we'd hang around and watch other stuff, but I don't believe I watched that much during that shooting because we'd go back and, we all became friends and we would go back to the cabins and then hang out or do stuff or go have a meal.
You said there were a lot of hijinks, people playing tricks on each other, trying to scare each other.
Oh, yeah. Often when we'd go back, it was, like I said, it was this long kind of dirt road with hedges on both sides, and they'd wrap you, and sometimes it was dark, and they'd give you a flashlight, or you'd be escorted back by a PA, and you'd be walking down the street, and you'd hear literally, kill, 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 kill.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, we're making the movie, and I'm with Jason, and I'm with all these people. I know it's not real, and I'm thinking, oh, damn. And you get scared. It was very, very funny, but... there are times everyone tried to spook each other.
I think there's one scene that we all know you had to hang out on. The scene before your big scene where you steal Terry's clothes, I'm sure you were there for her whole skinny dipping scene.
Yeah, I figured I would hang out for that one.
You had nothing better to do?
Yeah, they said, you can come and, we'll let you fly in a helicopter, we'll let you do anything else that's fantastic, but no, I'll hang here. I'm okay here.
Yeah, I'd stick with that.
Yeah, Terry, yes. So, I watched that entire scene, of course, a number of times, and I felt bad for her because that water was not warm, and she had to go into it, but she was terrific. I don't know what's going on with her. I haven't heard anything about her, so I have no idea. I heard she was going to appear, I believe, at that event that's no longer happening.
I didn't get what they were doing with your character. You're one of my favorite characters, and that's why I contacted you in the first. And what I couldn't understand is, you're clearly a model. I mean, you're the best-looking guy on the set, and you're hitting on this girl who's like not that. She's hot, but like I don't understand. I don't understand. I don't get the part where you're not in her league. What was that all about? Go ahead.
I think she was actually, I think she was really holding out for the man in the wheelchair. I think she had a fetish.
Oh, God.
Never know. Never know.
That's probably a negative, but okay.
Yeah.
So I have two quick questions here. One, Shopping Mall that you starred in is coming, it turned out again, if you will, becoming a cult classic.
I love that.
Put it on DVD, and by the way, I watched the commentary to the DVD. The director and writer had nothing but nice things to say about you and the whole cast, and Tony O'Dell, and it's really turned into a cult classic once again after this DVD release. What's your? I always thought it was a good movie. I always wanted to see it for a long time. And all I could watch was the trailer. It was so tough to get. It was out of print for a while. And what was your thoughts on Shopping Mall? At the time, were you happy to do another horror movie, or did you just think like, okay, I'll do this. Maybe I don't want to do another horror movie. What were your thoughts before going into that and getting the part to Shopping Mall?
Well, when I heard it was a Roger Corman picture, actually it was his wife, Julie Corman, but still associated with her family. I thought, wow, I mean, that's a classic name right there. I'd love to be involved.
Yes.
And then when I heard Jim Wynorski's name, and he has, of course, a great history with those type of films and others, and I said, yeah, definitely, let me audition for that. And I was thrilled to get it, and it was a great group of people, and we had a fantastic time. It was at, the famous Galleria in Sherman Oaks. This was actually where we shot it. The exterior in the movie is the Beverly Center in Los Angeles, but it was really shot at the Sherman Oaks Galleria. And to be able to run through the Galleria when it was closed from like 9 p.m. or 10 p.m. at night till 6 in the morning with shotguns and AK-47s or whatever they're called, and blow the place up and destroy windows and then be chased by robots. I mean, it was a dream. It really was. I mean, it was a thrill to get a chance to do an action pick like that and laugh a lot. And we did laugh a lot on the set.
It seemed like a fun cast, and the director, during the commentary, talked about all the flack he was getting from, I want to say it was one of the supervisors of the mall. And that was a famous mall. I mean, they used Commando with Arnold Schwarzenegger. They shot at the same mall.
Yeah.
But
the Galleria in Sherman Oaks, which was, I think it's referred to in Fast Times at Richmond High, I believe. I don't know if it's seen there. But I mean, it was referred to in many movies.
Yes. It was, and now it's no longer around. I believe it was knocked down.
Yeah, it's no longer. It's still there, but it's no longer a 3 or 4 level shopping mall. It's mostly offices with some shopping and restaurants on the bottom and theaters.
The director of the film said he was getting tons of flack from one of the representatives of the mall because they somehow put a small little ding into the poll, and he said constantly these representatives of the mall was giving such a hard time to the production of the film, but yet the owner of that mall was all for it.
Oh,
he did say, I believe the owner, Jim Worski, director, told him, hey, look, we're going to do this fire stunt, and we're going to put fire around here. And the owner, exact quote, as he told the story, said, oh, that sounds great, and walked away. But everybody advising this owner of Sherman Oaks, the shopping mall, was so against it. So I don't know if you knew about that, if you've seen that while on set, if you heard about the kind of flack from the mall staff.
Actually, I hadn't heard about that. I don't know if they kept that from the cast or not, or Jim shared that with some other people, but I did not know that, so that's very funny. I mean, we did run around, and there was fire, and there were, I remember in one scene I'm throwing a crowbar at a window. Of course, they opened up the doors of the actual store and put in our own plate glass, and I broke that, but I didn't know of any actual real damage to the mall. I do remember some real damage to my ears, though, which has been sustained because those guns are loud, and we were shooting them so often. I remember Tony was standing next to me, and he had an AK-47, and he was firing that thing at the robot coming, and I think there was some permanent damage to my ears as far as just hearing and reduction in it. But I mean, I don't know if it's specifically that, but over years. But I do remember that, actually not hearing for a few days from the loudness from that.
Really? Wow. And you're in a closed spot anyway, so it's definitely the echo.
Definitely, also plus the echo, but being right next to those guns, even though they're blanks, it makes a powerful noise.
Mr. Todd, the other question I have here is that one of your co-stars, quote-unquote, of Friday the 13th Part 2, Warrington Gillette, has been making a name for himself as the real Jason, and it's turned out to be that he wasn't the real Jason. He did one scene. I just want to know how do you feel about that when he's taking credit for somebody else's work, more or less?
Yeah, I don't know what the true backstory of that is, because I remember him being there, but I don't know to what degree he was Jason or someone else was. I mean, no matter what the answer to that is, I mean, no one should take credit for someone else's work, or at least if they do take, they should say it's a shared credit. But I really don't know how much he actually was the Jason or not, to be honest.
Well, basically, Warrington Gillette was hired. In his contract, he was going to be, credited as Jason. So they hired him, really not knowing too much about him. The first day on the set, he's supposed to basically, they filmed the last scene first, when Jason jumps through the window to attack Ginny at the end.
Right.
And he jumps through the window. In our interview, he even states he didn't even break through the glass. Like, he didn't do it right. He didn't, and I guess that's a real amateur mistake, or I don't know, whatever. So basically, they do it again. He eventually gets through the window, film it, and basically they said, this guy is just not, we don't want him for the rest of the movie. He's not going to cut it. Steve Dash was then hired to play Jason in every single other scene of the movie.
Oh, wow.
Now, yeah, so Warrington Gillette, basically, since his name is in the cast, when people were making documentaries, doing interviews, and hiring people for the conventions, they looked on the list and said, okay, let's get Warrington Gillette. And while he was doing all this, he failed to mention that he only did one thing in the entire movie, and he was not Jason by any means, besides that one window scene. Steve Dash was made aware of this, and it became this whole big, gigantic fight.
I think I've seen, at other signings I've done, I've seen Warrington there, where, of course, he bills himself as the Jason from that. But I think Steve has been there as well, where I think he had a shirt that said, yes, I'm the real Jason. I believe that was
it. Yeah, he's been saying I'm the real Jason as basically spiteful to Warrington. And to this day, like, that has been made aware to us for about 5 years, I would say. And Steve Dash will continue to write the real Jason on all his autographs.
How is it credited in the movie and IMDb?
I think Jason Stuntman, something like that, Stunt Double.
Yes.
Oh, right.
Yes, it is credited that way.
I want to ask a really total dork question to you.
Okay.
You know, like that. I don't know how much you like memorize this movie, because I'm sure it's just another movie to you. But do you remember the scene where like everyone's about to leave and go to that bar? Right. So Steve Miner takes the camera and he films Ginny and Paul, and there's just one big long shot where they glide down the whole entire porch, and they film every single cast member doing their own little part, and it's just one big long continuous shot. Do you remember that?
I kind of do, yes. We were all doing, yeah, I do.
And you were like, I think I'll stay here a while, because the girl says, well, I'm going to stick around. I haven't found Muffin. And you were like, I think I'll stay a while. How many takes did that? Most movies don't have a whole bunch of different scenes wrapped up in one continuous shot.
I don't quite remember how many takes, to be honest, that took to do that, but I would have remembered if it was a lot of takes to make it happen, because that always sticks in my mind. So it was probably just you. Otherwise, I would have remembered that. But I don't think it was. I mean, what we were doing was not that difficult for that shot. So,
right. Yeah. Everybody could have hit the mark pretty easily. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think he probably got it in 1 or 2 shots.
Okay. Cause I always liked that scene. I liked how they did that. It was just 2.5 minutes of just nonstop, and everybody had to do it.
I agree with you. That's always great to see a scene like that.
Yeah, it's cool stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was just gonna ask if he hooked up with any girls on the set.
The answer is yes. But
really?
we're there.
All right, that's some dirt. Okay.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's fine to come from my side, but then the other person, I don't know.
Yeah.
They want that out there. So,
yeah.
You know.
Cool.
Yeah.
I have one last question for. Has there ever been a role you've been up for that you really wanted so bad and just couldn't get? Has that ever happened to you during your career?
Well, I was actually supposed to do a role years ago called Endless Love. Brooke Shields starred in it years and years ago, and Martin Hewitt.
It's from 1981, right? It was early 80s, wasn't it?
It probably was. Yeah. That's
okay. Yeah. Now.
But I thought I had that role. I did the screen test, and I thought we were buying clothing, all sorts of stuff, and then it was taken away from me for various reasons. But that was one role which might have changed the career. I don't know, but that might have been interesting to do that picture. I mean, it was a big film at that time, not a great movie, but a well-publicized movie. But I ended up doing Where the Boys Are, which was an Alan Carr film, in '83 with Lisa Hartman and Lorna Luft and Lynn Holly Johnson and Alana Stewart and Dan McDonald, and that was a terrific experience. In fact, they're just releasing finally. They never ever put out a DVD of that, and they finally do it. It was made in '83, and they just interviewed me at my home for that to do the commentary, for behind the scenes on that DVD. So I'm happy that they're finally releasing that.
Do you have any movies that you could recommend to like your fans of Friday the 13th besides Chopping Mall that they would be into? Like your favorite or your happiest how they came out?
Not horror pictures right off my head. I'd have to think about that. You caught me on that one.
Yeah,
I'd have to think about that. So unfortunately, I can't. I still have to see many of the other ones in this series. I mean, I've seen 2 or 3 of them, but I haven't seen many of the later ones. And one of my clients, I'm an agent, as you know already, and I represent many of the Steadicam operators in the country. And one of them did the last Friday the 13th. He was the camera operator in the Steadicam, so it was nice to have that connection. I was very happy when they called and we were able to book that.
It'll always be a part of you, I guess.
Yeah, and I'm very, very happy about that. It was an exciting thing. I was young, and it was wonderful to be a part of that, not knowing what it would turn into, but just enjoying the moment and the people. And I'm glad that it's had such longevity, and that there's so many incredible fans that still love it. And everyone has a favorite movie, and I think that's great. And I think it'll go on forever.
And as an agent, and I was just going to say, as an agent, you're not looking to take on a mediocre-looking person who can't act, right? You don't do that. Because Alex is going to ask you, and I figured I'll just ask for Alex. So, Alex, I don't think it's going to happen tonight.
Well, I don't represent actors. I represent people behind the camera, but you never know.
That's cool. Wow, so a lot goes into every single thing about making a movie, huh?
Really does. It's amazing how many positions there are and how many of those positions people never thought, oh, those people have agents? And
well, yeah, Vince here wants to be a best boy, Grip.
That's a good job.
Strong enough. I'm sure it is. I would like to make the money. I can keep my mouth shut. Perfect.
Well, I still enjoy going to the sets, even though I'm not performing, but to see my clients shoot, and I meet some incredible people and watch their talent. And it's always nice. So I think no matter what position you have on a project, I'm sure many of them are very grateful to be there and be part of the experience, and to get paid, of course.
Exactly. Is there anything you would like to plug before we go?
I guess just, this Where the Boys Are, even though it's not horror, will be coming out very shortly on DVD, and I hope that people enjoy that.
Will that also be a Blu-ray, do you know, offhand?
I don't know at this point. I'm really not sure because I'm not involved in that aspect. And also I'm promoting a new singer that's going to be out there. You'll probably hear him soon. And a crooner style, in the style of Frank Sinatra and Michael Bublé. He's got an amazing voice that no one's ever heard. And we just went into the studio today and recorded 3 tracks. And I think he's going to be quite a sensation sometime soon. So that will be exciting. We'll see more about that later.
Oh. Very cool.
That sounds great. And we thank you for your time, your grace for coming on here. It really means a lot to us.
Well, it's my pleasure. It's the perfect day, of course, Friday the 13th, and I'm very grateful to all the fans that have always stuck by the series, by me, by all of this. It's just amazing. And
yes, thank you so much for coming through for us, man. I mean, this is really a real special night. I mean, it's just been incredible. We had a Friday 13th show planned. It's just been jam-packed, and it's something, I don't know, we'll definitely remember this forever,
Yeah, definitely.
That's great. Well, thank you so much for having me on the show.
Yes, thank you
Russell.
so much.
Thank you very much.
So much.
All right, guys, take care.
Happy Friday 13th.
Thank you. You too.
This is Mr. Skin from MrSkin.com with all the skinfo from the latest movies. Blasting in the theaters, Emily Blunt co-stars with Tom Cruise in Edge of Tomorrow. It's not nude, so head over to 2004's My Summer of Love, where Emily shows off her smoking blunts and gives Natalie Press a case of the lesbian munchies. Naked Emily will give you a Tom Cruise missile.
This is the Mr. Skin Minute.
Finally, nude on Blu-ray, Jennifer Aniston co-stars with Vince Vaughn in the 2006 comedy, The Breakup. Her dong-awaited high-def nude debut comes at the 57-minute mark when she bears her perfect seat meat walking down the hallway after a Brazilian wax. Jen cracks a smile, and you'll grow a mile. Nude on HBO, Khaleesi's handmaid Natalie Emanuel got naked for the first time on Game of Thrones. Natalie catches peeping warrior Grey Worm spying on her as she bathes in a stream, leading to a super sexy stare down. Naked Natalie will hook your pink worm.
MrSkin.com. Fast forwarding to the good parts.
I offended some strippers today.
Yes, you did.
Oh, did you? You offended strippers. Yeah, Jamie, you said you posted and you watched Slumber Party Massacre 2?
No, it's Sorority House Massacre 2.
Sorority
Which
House.
is a Jim Wynorski film, and anyone who knows anything about Jim Wynorski movies knows that they're T&A from beginning to end. But I made the comment that I think he trolls strip clubs Tuesday afternoon to get...
Right.
He uses daytime, like lunchtime strippers in his movies, and... So I made this comment, which I thought was hilarious, and a lot of other people thought it was hilarious too, but then apparently it is offensive to strippers.
So the hot strippers come out at night?
Yeah, I mean, if you know... if you're a hot stripper, you're going to work the evening shift, the weekend shift. You're going to be working when people are coming in.
Right.
If you're working the daytime shift, it usually means you're either
a crackhead,
older or... maybe you're not maybe it has nothing to do with how you look. Maybe you're not as good. I don't know. For whatever reason, that's just it's a joke.
Yeah.
But apparently it was offensive to some strippers.
Oh,
so.
maybe it was the wheelchair strippers. Sorry, guys.
It's a completely untapped resource right there.
Oh my God. We're so sorry.
I highly doubt it's untapped, but yes.
And we're offending you left and right. We're sorry that...
Oh, it's your syphilis breaking out again. Oh,
your parents raised a pussy. I'm sorry.
Nothing like the fucking C-Squad of strippers, dude. Oh my god. I know what you're saying though, Jamie. Like, a lot of strip clubs actually do that. They're like, come in, noontime special, try the buffet. It's like, what?
Yeah, they're dragging you in with the food, because...
Yeah, dude, exactly. And it's like, yeah, and it's like, you know, these chicks have, like, you know, C-section scars and they're fucking...
At any rate, my joke was not leveled at strippers in general. It was leveled at Jim Wynorski and the fact that... And you know what? Any woman who puts herself in a Jim Wynorski film knows exactly what she's doing. He also makes softcore porn under a different name for Skinamax. It's like... These aren't like raging feminists who are working for him, you know? And so it's just... I find it hilarious. It was clearly a joke. Anyone who knows me knows that I believe in empowering women, but, you know, it was fucking funny, and I don't apologize for that. Jesus Christ.
Jamie, you like offending everybody, though, so why would strippers be exempt from that?
Who cares? Well, that's it. Right? I feel like, then I feel like I would be excluding them if I... I believe in offending everyone across the board.
And if I recall correctly, Jamie, we spoke pretty highly about strippers versus werewolves, or whatever.
Yes, we did. You know, I love strippers. I do.
I love that movie.
And I have a great deal of respect for them. If you're a good stripper, then I have a great deal of respect for you. That is really demanding physically. You have to be talented. You have to know what you're doing. You know, I have a lot of respect for that. You know, and these aren't even really strippers. They're actresses, in quotes, you know, who are portraying strippers. You know, they're not actual strippers. Just get over yourselves.
Jamie supports stripers. That's a new rule. Nah, never mind. Grammar. All right, guys, that's it. That was the interviews. I hope you liked that little bonus.
And like we said before, we're going full throttle with this shit, dude. These next 11 shows are gonna be so much fun. I mean, I don't want to give anything away, but we're doing something that Jamie's been wanting to do, you know, ever since we started. So that's
Yes.
Let's flip a coin. Who's getting what? Come on.
And that's all I can say about that, and that's going to be fun. And, dude, we got a lot of cool stuff coming up, so, like Alex said, stay tuned.
Yep, the show that brought you the 12 days of Friday the 13th, the show that brought you A Long Night at Camp Blood, the show that brought you Ted White.
Yeah.
The show that brought you a remake of their own show, Friday 4.
Who does that?
Well, guess what? No one's done what you're going to hear on the next show, and you can take that to the bank!
Take it to the bank, bitches!